It means that deep down we're not on our side.
One day later.
Mary and Matthew have only one thing on their mind, which is of course their wedding. The wedding will naturally be one of the highlights of the county for a long time to come, the same way when a member of the royal family gets married, so the guest list is very important. Robert is completely against the idea of inviting Sybil and Tom because Tom is, quote,
an object of fascination for the county.
Tom and Sybil don't have the money to travel anyways, but Isabel and Violet agree that Robert is completely in the wrong on this one. Cora, Edith and Mary don't have much to say. Downstairs, Mr. Carson is still in need of a footman, especially with the whole wedding thing coming up, and O'Brien has a candidate, her nephew Alfred Nugent.
Out to host a society wedding. I have no time for training young hobbledehoys.
This, I think, is the only type of person got away with speaking to O'Brien like that. He doesn't really get away with it because O'Brien, being a ladies' maid, manages to get Cora to agree to it, and Alfred gets the job. Robert gets a call from his lawyer to see him in London, and it's really bad news. Robert had invested a huge portion of Cora's fortune in one railway company. The CEO dies and everything goes to shit. Do they not have books on the stock market in this era? Don't do this.
Why were you so heavily invested in one enterprise? Wasn't it foolish?
He breaks the news to Cora and Mary, and boy does Cora take this news way better than I imagined. I know Cora and Robert were both born and raised in the Victorian era, and it was the norm for the husband to manage the money in the house, which is why we never see Cora interfering in the running of the estate. But seriously, Cora, you should have kept an eye on this. Cora is fine with moving away to a smaller place, smaller meaning smaller than Downton, but still pretty big, and living in a much more modest way, but Mary isn't. Somebody pays for Tom and Sybil's ticket, so they come back to Downton for Mary's wedding. Also, Sybil is pregnant. Tom can't keep his politics down at dinner, and the Crawleys change the subject before it gets too awkward, and to be fair, they're the ones who are asking and saying things that would make him feel uncomfortable. He probably feels like a fish out of water when sitting with them, and let's not forget, he's not for the nobility. He and Sybil are very touched though when they find out it was the rule-following, traditional Violet who bought the tickets for them. Matthew gets a letter from Reggie Swire's lawyer informing him that he is in Reggie's will. Mr. Swire had 3 heirs, of whom Matthew was the last, and his money was not to be divided but given in its entirety to his heir. Turns out the first heir died before Reggie, the second one is missing, and it does look like Matthew might get a huge chunk of cash. I do have some questions though. Didn't Reggie Swire owe Carlisle a huge amount of money back in 1912, and wasn't that the reason why Lavinia had to snitch on her uncle Jonathan Swire and start the whole Marconi scandal? And also, wasn't Reggie Swire a lawyer? How did he make so much money in the span of 8 years as a lawyer? Like, who were these man's clients? Edith is still keen on Sir Anthony Strallan, and the last we saw him was before the war when he took off after he thought Edith didn't like him. The reason why he doesn't make much of an appearance in season 2 is because he was injured during the war and his arm will never recover. Edith still wants him, but Strallan feels he's far too old for her and she should try to get with someone her age, but Edith is persistent and keeps inviting him over and over again to their home for dinners and such. The Grey family is coming over to visit Downton. They're old friends with the Crawleys and the mom is dead, but the father and the sons are still there. The oldest, Larry Grey, never disappoints when it comes to being a horrible, nasty human being, maybe even subhuman being. He had a crush on Sybil when they were younger and he's awful to Tom. This piece of shit even spikes Tom's drink to make him look like a loon, and Tom does drink it and go off.
And I don't care who knows it. Well, the Black and Tans are there to restore order, are they?
Strallan did see him doing it and tells on him in front of everyone, so at least Tom does get cleared, and in act of solidarity, Matthew even makes Tom his best man. Martha Levinson, Cora's mom, is coming over for the wedding, and she's the exact opposite of Violet. The girls seemingly don't care much for this grandmother of theirs, and I mean, they haven't seen her a lot growing up, so that does make sense. Matthew finally gets a letter from Reggie's lawyer informing him that the second heir is definitively dead, so this makes Matthew Reggie's heir. With the money situation going on for Downton, Mary asks Matthew to help her father, but he says he can't. He feels that he can't keep the money for himself because he believes that Reggie Swire left this money because Lavinia loved him and he loved her, but since that wasn't true, he feels it'd be dishonest to take the money. Mary feels that this is a betrayal because Matthew won't help her family when he could and plans to call the wedding off. What do you guys think? If you were in Matthew's place, what would you do? Anna talks some sense into Mary.
What I say is a good man, milady. There won't be another one along in 10 minutes' time.
Tom talks to Matthew.
You won't be happy with anyone else while Lady Mary walks the earth.
and they both reconcile. The big day is just as exciting as you'd imagine, and everything about this is chef's kiss. The decor, the wedding, Matthew's and the men's suits. It's beautiful, and Matthew and Mary get the wedding we've always wanted for them. With the whole money thingy going on, the Crawleys have very little time to pack it up and move out of Downton Abbey. Neither Mary nor Violet want this, and since Matthew won't help, they start looking for an
source of revenue previously untapped.
and they realized what they needed was practically under their nose all this time. Martha is clearly made of money, and they're sure they can convince her to give her some of that moolah, at least for her granddaughter's sake. Violet cannot stand Martha for obvious reasons, and watching Violet suck up to Martha is hilarious.
I should hate to go there.
Don't mean that, Granny, when we're both so drawn to America.
Indeed, we are. Never more than now.
With Tom at Downton as a member of the family, he has to be dressed by a valet, and Thomas and Mr. Carson are like, we are absolutely not dressing him. So they decide Alfred should dress him. Alfred has no experience as a valet, so O'Brien asks Thomas, who she's helped so many times over these past years, to help her nephew, and he says, hell no. Remember, this show starts in 1912 and the year is 1920. That's 8 whole years of O'Brien supporting Thomas. Let's make a list of the things O'Brien has done for this guy. Helping him get rid of Bates multiple times by knocking him down in front of everyone, lying to get rid of him, and the reason why that didn't work was because Thomas went about it very stupidly. O'Brien is the one who manages to get him the job at Downton when it was a convalescent home, and she also helped him promote his business. It's not her fault Thomas was dumb enough to give his life savings to someone he met at a pub. It's always O'Brien who helps Thomas clean up his messes, and he couldn't do something so simple for her, and this, my friends, is the reason why their friendship ends. Okay, I did try to think from Thomas's perspective here, and you know, Thomas does say that he tried so hard to get here, and it was 8 years before he got this valid job he's always wanted, and so naturally he does not want competition. That's the only way I can make sense of this. Mary and Violet decide to host a huge dinner to show Martha the real reason for houses like Downton. I don't know if showing Downton as a house solely for entertainment is a great point to make, because Downton has many other uses like providing employment, the land is leased out to people who want to live on it, and during the war it was a convalescent home. Anyways, the point is to awe Martha into writing a huge check, so they want everything to be perfect. Alfred gets promoted to taking care of Matthew as well, and this does not sit well with Thomas, who purposely sabotages Alfred into burning a hole in one of Matthew's tails. This becomes a big problem because though the tails are sent up to London to be fixed, they do not arrive on the day Mary and Violet are planning to throw their big party, so Matthew has to wear a less formal black tie. O'Brien isn't going to just sit and watch her nephew getting into trouble for something that was not his fault, so she hides all of Robert's shirts so Thomas gets in big trouble.
Where are they? Where have you put them? I haven't touched his evening shirts, where would I?
So now neither Robert nor Matthew are dressed properly, but boy oh boy, that is the least of their problems. The oven breaks down and there's no food to serve.
Funny clothes and no food. Should be quite an evening.
Thank you, Mother.
This is so embarrassing and so sad that everything that they've been planning goes to shit just like that. Martha suggests that they serve something that does not need cooking, and instead of dining at the dinner table, the guests are given permission to explore the house. It's a grand success and the guests absolutely love it. Martha is pleased with her handiwork, and Mary and Violet are glad that the night wasn't a flop, but it kinda turns out to be when Martha reveals that she can't help the Crawleys. The late Mr. Levinson tied up the cash pretty tight, so she can't give them any money. The shirts that were missing a couple hours ago are back home again, and Thomas knows exactly who took it.
I'm warning you.
Stop warning me and go and lay out his lordship's pyjamas.
Let's just say this won't be the end of it. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe for more videos. Check out my other videos if you haven't already. Thanks for watching.